Today I am here with Kenny Agabula, who is a referee, and we are going to answer some questions just to ease our mind and get more knowledge of what it's like working as a referee. So, Kenny, thank you so much for taking time and speaking to me today.
No problem.
So, Kenny, let me start off with what made you become a referee?
So I used to play football, um, not at a good level to be honest. And to be honest, I wasn't that good enough, but obviously I enjoyed football, watching it. So I decided to do something to stay in the game.
So, before you said you were playing football,
Mhm.
how long were you playing football for and what position?
I played football a couple of years. I think like maybe 8 years. I played right back. Um, I played for a team called Greenhouse Bething Football Club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
That's
like I
really
said, sorry, I'm gonna say, like I said, I was never good enough. I'll be honest. Some players say, "Oh, I was good, but I had injuries, etc." But for me, I wasn't good enough.
I mean, at least you're honest and where you stand. So what really made you become, more into the referee? What kind of showed you the path that, this is potentially what you wanted to take?
Good question. So I reckon it was, like I said, I want to stay in the game as well. And although I wasn't good enough, when I played for my team, um, most of my teammates, apologies, some of them are in prison, some of them are dead. So it just gave me an opportunity to stay off the street because the team that I played for even folded as well. So there's an opportunity for me to stay off the streets, just get involved in something I want to do.
No, I mean, what you're saying is that, you wanted to be a part of the community, you wanted to do better and still passionate. Well, I admire that.
Thank you.
So what would you say the hardest part is, becoming a referee? So, the whole process, the courses, everything. So what would you say is the hardest part to become one?
Uh, the hardest part is, I think, is just the commitments and the physical aspects, mental aspects, and the social aspects. Because, like, for example, for me, if I have a game on Saturday, use my games at 3 o'clock, and I leave my house about probably 12 o'clock. I'm back home at 7:30. So it takes a whole day, especially when you're traveling around. And physical aspect in terms of like the physical demands, you have to be fit as well for it. I mean, as you can see, referees are fit, and then socially because obviously, like you're leaving your family as well on a Saturday morning, Tuesday. So basically, football's your whole life.
It is true, the whole day does kind of take up. You set out
Yeah,
probably be back at like 7, so that's
half
understandable.
seven. I'm lucky. Yeah.
Could you share some strategies or techniques, when you do deal with this hardship? So how could you find a easier way through your day?
So strategies to do refereeing. The first thing I do is I always like to do self reflection. So after the game, I talk to my colleagues, my brother, family, just say to them, "This happened. What could you do differently, etc." Or I might watch a video and just think to myself, "Do you know what? I've done this. Why have I done this?" And I question myself, "Why? What does the game expect?" But I need to learn not to always question yourself because obviously, once you make a decision, you can't really change it. That makes sense as well. So it's a hard one to take in. And I do a lot of like for physical aspect, I do a lot of training. So I might do weight, swimming, yoga, have a bath, so just a lot of stuff for recovery as well.
For sure. Have you ever dealt with, verbal or any physical abuse from players or coaches, whilst playing?
Uh, definitely, I have. I mean, I think when I was refereeing, I think I was about should have been about 16. So um, I think I cautioned a player, a young kid, he's probably like 14, and then his brother was on the touchline. His brother was angry, and he said to me, "Wait off the car park." So after the game, he was waiting in the car park. If I remember correctly, he actually brought a knife out to me as well. So it's
No
just like,
way.
yeah.
So, dealing with something so intense, how do you kind of deal with it? Like, what was your train of thought? How did you get out of that situation?
So obviously his spectators came and helped me out, but it wasn't. It was such a surreal event. I was actually frightened, to be honest.
No, for sure, because you're only doing your job. You're calling out fouls. You're calling out what you genuinely see. To escalate it to something like that is I think it's a bit absurd. It's a bit crazy.
Definitely, I would agree with you. I mean, like I was saying to someone earlier on, referees make mistakes. I mean, but everyone can make mistakes. Well, all human beings who doesn't make mistakes in life.
No, 100%. I mean, in Saturday Sunday League, we don't have the facilities of VAR. We have to,
Don't get me started
listen
with
to the
VAR.
linesmen, especially if they're their teammates. They might try and help them win. They might not call the right foul. So you kind of really do have to take a lot under consideration, and that's a lot in the heat of the moment. In the middle of the
Yeah,
game, you can't really take that much time to think about the decision or anything. How do you
100%.
juggle with all those thoughts?
Um, again, that's a brilliant question you asked me. So, when I'm refereeing, I like to communicate with the players as much as possible. I try my best to explain why I give a certain decision. Not all the times, because obviously it's not practical, feasible. And I also like to have a bit of banter with the players as well. I'm sure it doesn't work with everyone. Some players say, referee, you're crap, all this. But I make jokes. I say to them, like, for example, if I was so good enough, I would be refereeing you lot. So I give it to players back as well. But like I said, the same players you can't give it to. That makes sense. You have to pick your battles as well.
100%. You do have to honestly pick your battles because certain players, in the heat of the moment, they're so passionate with the sport, you don't really know where it could go.
Yeah. And just adding on to what you said, exactly what you said, players are a bit passionate with the sport, but generally after games, yeah, no one's ever came up to my face except for that one incident. So generally, everyone comes and shakes their hand. Players might argue decision, but I think players are good at just leaving their opinions to themselves after the game.
Yeah, you know, after the
Generally,
game
anyways.
is done, you feel good, you feel relieved. You may talk about it with your friends, but you kind of understand why the referee, made certain decisions or why certain things were called. I mean, no one's ever really happy in this world. Always,
Yeah,
there's always something to complain about, but I understand.
yeah.
So, what are some of the misconceptions people have about your role as a referee?
I think the most common misconception is that referees have never played the game before, as usual. Referees are arrogant, so stuff like that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, people just come with the judgment, but they don't really know you as a person.
100%. And also, they don't really understand the laws of the game. So, for example, there's certain decisions that I actually don't. There's certain laws, should I say, that I don't agree with, but obviously, it's my job. I have to apply it. So, I think the players don't understand the laws of the game and why we apply it. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, if there was one rule, like you just said, that you could potentially change or remove, in your handbook, what
Yeah.
potentially would be the one that you would want to remove?
Uh, interesting one. Um, I think it will be the handball law. I mean, to be honest, we see lots of videos about handballs, and me personally, as a referee, it's somewhat confusing what constitutes to handball or not. Like we see incidents on match of day when, like, if I put in a group chat, some referee says handball, some referee will say it's not. So I think for most people, the handball law needs a bit of tidying up. If that makes sense.
It does, yeah. Just to make it a bit finer, just so people
Yeah,
understand if
exactly.
it's elbow and below or however it is. Because
Exactly.
I do understand, when it's a natural pose, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and they talk about the silhouette. I mean, it's so difficult to judge it. I mean, obviously, I have my interpretations about it, but the problem is, when you ask another referee this handball, they will say no. So I think as a referee, the handball law is definitely something we want tidying up.
Yeah. So, how do you maintain fairness and an impartial decision throughout the game?
To be honest, I just have to make a decision based on what I've seen. So, for example, if I don't see an incident, I'll just say to the players, you know, I haven't seen it really. Just be open and honest. just give what you see most times.
For sure. When you are open and honest, and if the conversation may get a bit heated, they're telling you, ref, I saw it. How do you deal with, just trying to stick with your word?
Do you know what? I think when you're open and honest, I think the players expect you more, and it's good to show you're human as well. So I think it actually works, to be honest. Okay, not obviously sometimes you can't always say the thing you want to say because it can get you into trouble, but just times again, just say like little stuff. Do you know what? I got it wrong. I'll get the next decision right. Well, hopefully, anyways.
But at least you're honest, you can't
Yeah.
fault for being honest.
Mm.
So how do you think mental health can, impact a player's performance on a field?
Um, it's similar to referees. I mean, there's a lot of pressure for the players. So the players want to perform to the best. They want to be in the team. I'll give an example. So the sub, yeah, he or she wants to make an impact. They come on, and then yeah, so as soon as they come on, they might make a bad challenge, but they usually make a bad challenge because they just want to be in the starting 11, etc. Don't impress the manager, the spectators, etc. Their family members. So it's just stuff like that.
Do you think all that pressure can, clutter someone's mind that they can't think clearly when they're playing football? All this pressure, commentators, people watching this, that, having all in your head, can that, change the way you play? Can that make a big effect?
Definitely. I mean, like it's not it's not even from just the managers, it's from everyone around. Like you said, the spectators, the media, his team, his teammates, family members. So there's a lot of pressure, definitely, I would say. And obviously that could lead to mental health issues.
So what steps can football organizations take to support, people that have, to help their mental health well-being?
Mm. I think they could just have more of a dialogue with players, communication with players, etc. Just let them know that it's okay not to be okay. Just let them know that you don't have to be under a lot of pressure to play the game that you love.
Do you feel like it's a bit harder because it's such a manly sport? There's so much passion and a bit of aggression within the sport that it's very hard to kind of maybe open up, or organizations may not shed so much light on talking about mental health other than maybe offering more training and more facilities and more group work.
To be honest, I'm gonna correct you here because you said football is mainly a manly sport, which I disagree. To be honest, I think football is gender neutral. To be honest, so like, we've seen the England women doing well. So I think females they due credit as well. And in terms of questions, I think yeah, they need to be able to. So what did you say? Apologies. Let's try.
No, that's perfectly fine. So, just saying how, the sport has so much aggression, it holds a lot of passion, um, you know, within the facilities and organizations, having potential, help for people with mental health and their well-being. But do you feel like they maybe spend more time on training and giving them more facilities to actually work out than giving them more help and tips for helping their mental health?
Oh yeah, yes, I agree. Yeah, definitely they should. Yeah.
Do you think we should maybe like try and incorporate that within physical training? If there's any ways or steps that they can help?
They shouldn't try and incorporate it with physical training as well. Yeah, and just do stuff like maybe physical activities. So obviously stuff to do your well-being like yoga, have a salt bath, meditation, etc. can help.
So have you noticed any specific changes or any pressures that referees face when it comes to mental health?
Similarly to the players, we're under a lot of pressure to perform. I mean, obviously we've got spectators, family members, the media. I mean, the media is the biggest one. I mean, they they're just there to criticize referee decision. But for me, it's even to criticize it, which is fine. I think you have to understand why the referee has come to that certain decision. If that makes sense, and obviously the players as well. So like, I don't mind um, players showing video replay, but that understand my thought process, why I made that decision.
Do you feel like that leaves you with potentially, quite a bit of stress and anxiety throughout the game, just thinking of all these things?
Um, I think we are under a lot of stress during the game. We have to make a decision like every 10 seconds we make a decision, so it does contribute towards stress. But for me, the way I try and deal with stress is I just worry about getting the next one right, or I'll just try to park the decision.
So, how important is it for football clubs to have mental health support systems in place? We literally just spoke about how anxiety and how stress is
Mhm.
such a big factor. And now that we have VAR, we've got VO cameras, we've got people trying to, add a bit of fuel into the fire. How would you say that maybe a football club itself could help and offer any support?
Is that for referees or players? Sorry.
For players, let's start off with, and then referees. I'm going to come to your organization.
So for the players, I guess it's just like an open space where the player can come and talk to them, how they're feeling post match, pre match, etc. Similarly for referees, I think we need like an open door policies. So, for example, during my games, um, before kickoff, I normally talk to the teams, um, I explain how I'm going to ref the game and what I expect of them, and I always use that as an opportunity for them to ask me questions, what they expect from me. So I think that conversation is very important. So that way we're on the same page.
So, the way that you communicate with your players, throughout your game, who do
Mhm.
you have to, who do you have that you could speak to and you can get support from, other than your family? Is there a certain organization for referees? Is there like a place, a hub, a group chat,
Yeah.
anything?
So we have a referees group chat. So in the group chat, we post like clips. So someone might post a clip and then with discussion, and then or someone might say, "This happened to my game. What could I have done differently?" Yeah, just like an open forum. And also we get some support. So do you want to continue?
No, I
Oh,
like you said, what I'm saying is I
mhm.
think that's good to have, a way that you can kind of talk to other referees and get their opinion and get their, ideas and their thoughts and stuff. And I think that is very comforting because they go through the same things that you go through. They have to tolerate, players' foul mouths, or they
Yeah,
have to think XYZ when playing. So it's nice that you guys have a hub or a safe place that you guys can come together and talk.
exactly. Where everyone's on the same page. I mean, we might not agree, but at least that way, that person just express their opinion. So I
In
think
your
that's really important.
in your experience, what are some of the effective strategies for managing stress and anxiety within football? I know we mentioned yoga and just some of like self love things that we can do and take time.
Zachary said, in more or less self love. I think I read the said before, so like it's easier said than done, but I tend not to really focus on the decision I made during the game. After the game, I might self reflect, but during the game, something happened, I'll be like, it's gone. Worry about the next 10, 15 minutes, try and get the next decision right. Well, hopefully, like I said, anyways. So stuff like that, just part of the decision, to be honest.
No, for sure. Like everything that you said today has been so enlightening. Like just understanding what it is for a referee, just the thought process, the things that you have to deal with. There's just a lot that you guys have to put up with. So I genuinely appreciate, for you coming on the show and definitely telling us what it is.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you so much, Kenny. I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you everyone for tuning into this episode. Till next time. Bye.
Take care. Bye.